Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This is a match from the New Blood Championship for Fury of Dracula. It's between 5-Hit playing as the Hunters and Geo playing as Dracula. This is actually a match from the knockout stage of the competition. It's the first round and yep, this is obviously, as you can tell, post-game analysis style. I've got 5-Hit's perspective here, so thank you again to 5-Hit for recording this. The second match of the series has been played by the time that you'd have seen this. Everything's all in a weird order. I wanted to do this analysis sooner, but I got a bit ill and then also just really busy with other stuff. But it's really nice having a Saturday afternoon that I can just do lots of recordings. So it's going to be really fun. So yeah, we're going to analyse everything from 5-Hit's perspective. These two have actually played against each other before in the competition. They weren't in the initial sort of arrangement or the initial randomized groups that were created at the beginning of the tournament, but then based upon the results, the two of them ended up playing, two matches against each other, once as Hunters, once as Dracula. Good luck at state, nice. So yeah, and so they played two matches against each other, then they end up playing against different people, and now they're back in the knockout stages again, playing against each other. So they will know each other's play styles a little bit, I would imagine. When they played against each other in the league stage, they both won, if I get this right, they both won the Hunter matches, that's right. So yeah, pretty even then between them if they were both beating each other as Hunters. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously, you know, the in the knockout stage, it's a best of 3. So, you know, I won't spoil the result of the other matches that have been played. I'll make sure in the playlist, I'll try and group up all the matches from each sort of head-to-head. So then you're not running around the playlist trying to find everything. They'll all be grouped up together. So you can check that out. I can't remember who recorded the second match in the series. I can't remember if that was me or somebody else. It's been a while since these games were played. I do know the result of this match, obviously, partly because I saw the tiny bit of this match live at the very, very end. I jumped into the live game to check out what was going on. And obviously, as tournament organizer, I saw the result, but I have no idea how it got to that point. So we'll see what happens, basically. We'll see how it all transpires. We've got a forewarned on Mina, that's decent. We've got a couple of long nights, that's not so good, but oh well, it is what it is. 5-Hit here is going for the Werb Talon start, having Mina and Godalming in Munich together, which I don't mind. I think there's definitely merits to that, rather than having them in Vienna. It definitely discourages Dracula from starting centre of the map, but it makes the East a tiny bit better, but not that much. We found one of those white ones, so that's perfect. That is exactly what the Huns are looking for. In case any of you stumble across this video and you don't know what's really happening here, the Hunters will spend the first week sort of staying in place and supplying until they find Dracula. There's many different ways they can find Dracula. They could get a newspaper report, which is the most reliable way, and the newspaper reports will then allow them to sort of basically reveal one of the spaces on the trail, depending on when the newspaper report gets drawn. If not, there are scouting cards that they can use to find them. Might even use a hypnosis, potentially. We shall see. So yeah, just spending the day supplying up, and then at night they're trying to get tickets, keeping bad tickets, so then the Fast Horses item card works very efficiently. So yeah. The way the knockout stage works is the player who had the highest seeding from the league stage gets to pick what faction they wanted first. So Geo was just a little bit higher than 5-Hit in the standings. So Geo picked Dracula first, which I thought was interesting, a very interesting choice given the fact that they both beat each other as Hunters. I would have thought Geo would have wanted to pick Hunters first, but clearly has a plan. Or maybe has learned things from that previous encounter. Lucy's Revenge, very nice card, on the correct character too. 5-Hit there, just taking a bit of time to read the card to see what it says, and that is absolutely fine. Better to know what it does. Especially Losers Revenge, there's so much text on that card. And a money trail. Very nice. Some nice strong events early. You like to see that as hunters. Sometimes... Oh, and a horse is very good. Sometimes you just wonder when the big events are going to come out. But then now, you start getting a couple of them early. That's decent. You've got some stuff to work with anyway. The question is, will you be able to use them efficiently? And another white one. Very good. Okay. Already looking decent after just 2 days of supplying. Sometimes things like the white one tickets and big events and the items that you want are buried at the bottom and it takes a while to get them out. Sometimes they just appear immediately. But the real skill is then, as a hunter player, trying to make sure you use those events and movement and things to full advantage. Obviously then as Dracula, you need to constantly be assessing what the hunters are doing, and you've got to try and gain information. What sort of items they might be holding, if they're not moving much, are they struggling because they don't have horses, or they do have the horses but they don't have the ticket economy set up, all that sort of thing. Oh yeah, I should have said, this is my first Fury of Dracula video with a new mic. So if there are any sort of like audio issues, I apologise in advance. Hopefully there won't be. It is a very sensitive mic and it picks up a lot of background noise. I think I might actually just move the microphone a little bit away from my mouth. There we go. That's better. Okay, classic misdirect here from Dracula. No real surprise. And this is good when Dracula is just taking their turn, hunters can take time to sort of further assess the items and ticket situation. So you kind of maybe... This early on is not so critical, but especially later on in the turns, you can start planning what you're going to be doing on your next turn while Dracula is playing, which is decent. Because obviously it's not like the real board game version where you you have all the table talk, right? When Dracula comes in, when we do these 1v1 tournaments, there's a lot of downtime for Dracula when the hunters are doing things, and then for the hunters when Dracula's doing things. Obviously, in theory, the players should be paying attention to what the other person is doing. They might be able to get a little bit of read and a little bit of information from it, but there's nothing wrong with looking at your cards and trying just to assess what you have to do the following turn. Apologies to you if you hear any yawning. This is not reflection on the game. I was my sleep last night was interrupted. My wife was going off on a trip, so she had to get up at 2 a.m. To get the flight. So yeah, sleep was interrupted. That's why. Consecrated Ground, very nice. So immediately then you're going to start prioritizing keeping Heavenly Hosts. Hunters kind of do that anyway, but especially now you're having to plan, okay, I've definitely got Consecrated Ground. I want to try and use it to its full potency. So let's try and get all the Heavenly Hosts, get them all spread out, try and not use them in combat. Okay, that's unfortunate. That isn't in Munich, but you never know. Sometimes Dracula might be trying to sneak past. But because of the risk of local rumours and things like evil presence, Dracula, unless Dracula is intentionally being very aggressive with their moves, will not go beside hunters. At least not this early, anyway. They might have to later on to try to escape. Okay, so we've got double horses, so just the only problem might be if one of them draws the third horse, but you can't replan those things, so I just keep supplying it anyway. I'd just keep it as it is, to be honest. Horse on each, Mina can discard dogs, Godalming can... Okay, so the cool thing is the way the interaction works. Mina discarding a ticket like that actually doesn't benefit anything, because when you take a ticket, you actually discard a ticket first. So it's not like you pull one from the deck and then you discard. If you could do that, if you could take a new ticket from the deck first and then discard the additional ticket, then you'd benefit from it. Well, would you benefit from it? No, because you're still putting that ticket back into the pile. So doing that weird sort of like conflict trick, where a hunter ends up with 3 tickets, you have to discard one, actually doesn't benefit you. Rumor token down by Dracula, so immediately that's sort of screaming vampire, which is very understandable. That's like a very common thing that's been happening in this tournament. Just because, Dracula players will want to be trying to take advantage and getting... he drew the next horse. That's very unfortunate. That's very unlucky. I guess you have to make a decision. Do you really want to keep it? That's really tough. And because the first card that you drew, if you'd skipped the supply, then Seward could have got it, but then you weren't to know that. So maybe there's an argument here that you start moving Seward towards them, so then you can try and get that traded quickly. But Seward doesn't really have the best rail tickets, so yeah, you might just have to deal with having 2 horses on Kadaming for a bit. Okay, no allies yet, but Surprising Return is a nice card to hold on to. Very good, Digi's Long Night. Okay, all things so far pretty good. I mean, yeah, drawing the horses is very unfortunate. There's not much you can do about that. In general, also got some big events. Money Trail, Consecrated Ground, Forewarned. I know the Forewarned's been revealed, but... Oh, another local rumours. Good grief, that's very unfortunate. It's definitely not there. So you just, the cards can be mean sometimes. I mean, all things considered, Gadaming having the 2 horses but then also Heroic Leap on top of it is not necessarily that bad, because then Gadaming can avoid combat with Dracula for a bit and just use the Heroic Leap, if necessary. Oh, interesting. So is Mina going to go and then trade with Seward? I'd much rather have Godalming running around with only 1 weapon, because he can tank it better. Yeah, I wouldn't want Mina running around with 2 horses. And then 2 horses in a stake. Ugh. That's asking for trouble. Oh, wax cylinders didn't get used. I think wax cylinders could have got used. That would have been something decent. Oh, and I would never pass with Mina there. Just scan Germany. If you're going to pass your turn, you may as well just scan. You never know. Dracula might just be there. I should have said, yeah, 5-hit doesn't play without plays without the music, so that's why we haven't got any of that. Just the sound effects. And there were so many sound effects I didn't even know existed. 'Cause I never heard the game like this. Yeah, you got a stake on that side already. Yeah, it's quite difficult. I guess if Godalming needs to move, him having a stake's not a bad idea. Yeah, I would have used wax cylinders with Seward last night. Just so, you never know, Dracula might have hidden, because that is quite common. Draculas want to try and guarantee these, um, you know, Dracula wants to try and guarantee the 6 or 7 points early. So putting down a saboteur behind it with a hide or something, you know, isn't the craziest thing to do. Okay, interesting. Van Helsing's moving, even though it doesn't have any evidence yet of where Dracula is. Dracula could be in Britannica. I guess maybe there's an evil presence. I don't think evil presence was obtained at any point. Moving Seward, I understand, because you're going to have to try and trade this horse across. Yeah, I'd just a stake. Yeah. Try and get Seward there ASAP. That's the only problem. Munich is a very awkward place to get to, because there's no easy rail connection. You're going to have to go like via Strasbourg or via Milan or something. There's no really good rail connection to Munich, which does make it sometimes a bit of an awkward place to navigate around. I'm interested to see how efficiently 5-hit deals with this. Okay, and no newspaper reports. So, yeah, Drax's going to have a little bit of respite here. This vampire is very likely to mature. And the fact the Huns are going to have to muck around. I think, honestly, if you're going to have a game where you don't obtain newspaper reports, it's the game in which you have really awkward like situation with horses having to trade them around. Because at least you can then just sit there and go, okay, fine, I can give up the 7 points, I can trade, rather than having a situation where you're thinking, I need to do this rumor token, but I also have to trade. If you don't know where the rumor token is, there's no point getting stressed about it. Oh, I would have moved personally. You need to get Seward as soon as possible over to try and get that traded. If that meant making horse economy worse by railing up to Paris, I would do it. Seward could be in Munich in 3 moves. If Mina wanted to move to Strasbourg to make it a little bit quicker, then there'll be 2 moves. Once they get that stuff traded around, they're going to be very well equipped. They've got, I think, at least 2 heavenly hosts. They'll probably have 2 knives if she keeps this knife. Yeah, you definitely want to keep knife on Mina. It's a little bit predictable that she has knife, but it's just very, very good. It keeps her very safe. If you can get 2 knives on Mina, it's very difficult to kill her. I would use wax cylinders here. You've got wax cylinders, just use it. If Dracula has used hide, it's just a free use. So they're probably the only things here that I would be doing differently at this point. I'd be psychic scanning Germany every single round, and I would be using wax cylinders. I mean, if you do it, use it once and then it's negative, okay, you don't have to use wax cylinders again. But I would have used it at least once because you just never know, right? Dracula might have hidden, and then you would have found this location, and that then gives you more information about can you actually stop it, yes or no. It'd be really unfortunate here if the hunters were actually in range to deal with it, but then couldn't because they didn't discover it in time. It's also very possible that Dracula just went like to Constanta first, or Galatz first, or Varna first, or something where they're really far away. I don't think they found the last white one yet either, so horse economy isn't set up yet. Gadami's very well equipped. If he draws another Heavenly Host, you're going to have a problem in terms of what to do. I guess you just throw away the knife because you know you've got Consecrated Ground in hand. I think you just double down and you supply. That's what I would do personally. I mean, okay. Making a gut assumption that he's gone east is okay. You got horses, you can easily backtrack if need be. Okay. I'm not sure about that move. Moving by sea is really inefficient. So I'm not really too sure where Sud would be going that it would benefit him to do that. I would just get horses on Sud. You don't want having Mina there with 2 horses and trying to work out what to do with them. You need to just get them traded. Even if you trade them to Van Helsing, that's fine. But there has to be a trade soon. So yeah, what does Mina do now? She's got 3 good events. You don't really want to discard any of them. You don't really want to end up having to discard a knife unnecessarily. You need a trade. Yeah, priority was trying to get a trade across, and even if it even means that she has to backtrack to do it, I would do it here. You've kind of given up these 7 points. Now what do you do? Hypnosis is such a good card. Which one of these cards do you discard? Oh man. I guess Excellent Weather. Well, maybe not. Maybe Chartered Carriage. If you can get horses set up, then you don't really need the Chartered Carriage. I say that through Grimace Teeth. It'd just be better not to have discarded. So yeah, I would have personally got Seward up to Paris like 2 turns ago, got him to Strasbourg this turn, Mina moves to Strasbourg this turn. Because then at least, even if you give up these 7 points, they're traded and they're ready to go. So looking good for Dracula right now. Definitely going to have at least 6 points on the board. Hunters are pretty well equipped though. As I said, as long as they can trade, then they they might be able to do a lot of damage to Dracula here. That Consecrated Ground is going to be vital. They got Money Trail and Hypnosis, so basically Dracula is going to find it really hard to evade them for a long period of time. They'll be able to know where he is. So yeah, the deduction side of the game is very much reduced here. It's all going to be about movement. Okay, he did go all the way to Galatz. Okay, so just went for the safe play, went east. Given the hunter's position, that makes a lot of sense. I guess you still need to ascertain if Dracula's gone east or not. Ooh, why are you backtracking? Don't need to backtrack there. I feel like Gadami just needs to keep moving forward. You need to ascertain if he's gone through Sophia or not. It is possible that Dracula has somehow got through the gap and gone through Vienna, but it's unlikely. If you really wanted to check, just move Gadami to Vienna. Or move going forward and get Mina to check Vienna. And because then Van Helsing will be able to join her in a couple of days by railing around, so... okay, I assume that's to go to Munich, which is okay. But Van Helsing could have just got there with a normal move. Oh, okay, I would not Psychic Scan during the day there. I would have supplied, and then done Psychic Scan at night. I can't see what actions Godalming and Van Helsing would do that would matter if Dracula was there or not. So yeah, me and could have done that last. Yeah, Psychic Scan is really something you want to be doing at night. Not during the day, unless you need it with like a speedy telegraph to ascertain exactly where Dracula is. Okay, interesting. Thought about the hypnosis, but then decided not to do it. Okay, okay. Oh yeah. So I guess yeah, the backtracking in order to psychic scan. But I think it would have been better in that situation to have moved to Vienna. Because it's very unlikely that, with quite a few local rumours, Dracula didn't go straight to Vienna from Galatz. So I think you need to go to Vienna to see if Dracula went through there, or might have been there now. If you want to move Mina across and then Psychic Scan Austria-Hungary, that's fine. Van Helsing could have come along the northern bit instead of going via Frankfurt. Could have gone to Berlin and then could have got now today to Vienna. So then that horse could have got traded. That would have been the way that I would have done that. If you didn't want Stewart to get the horse and you want Van Helsing to get it, that's fine. But that would have been the way that I would have done it. Because now the problem is Gadami's going to have to now backtrack again to... or like not backtrack, but go back into the east. I would also be using Godalming's ticket action here to try and get that last white one. I know Godalming's horse economy is really good because he's not holding on to a yellow 2, but you need to try and find that last white one because that's going to cause you a lot of issues. Okay, I guess I'm going to go to Valona, but just going along by the road would have been just as quick. Okay. Okie dokie. So trading in Munich, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, playing Hypnosis now, really? Okay. Ooh, okay. Well, it's fine. They've used it. You've ascertained he's in Baltica. That's okay. I would have personally just gone to Vienna, Psychic Scan, Austria-Hungary, and there's no way that Dracula would have got out with all those local rumors triggering. Assuming I remember the timing of them correctly. So because of that, you'd be almost certain that he's still in Baltica. So that way, then you avoid the hypnosis. Um, you'd be on the rail line to go into the east that way if you're worried about the about drawing the last white one ticket. The problem is the issue I'm already foreseeing is if Dracula is seeing Seward come over, the minute that Seward lands, Dracula's going to leave. So then Seward has made his way all the way over. He went up to Saragossa, then to Barcelona, and then all the way across. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves to basically achieve very little, and Dracula then instantly leaves. Now, of course, yeah, Seward can help deal with the trail. However, then, how's he going to get back across? He doesn't have horses, so he's never going to get back across again. You have to go really slowly by. You have to go really slowly by sea again. I mean, in terms of efficiency clearing up the trail, it might well work out. If it's, Dracula can sort of time this and go, okay, Seward's going to appear in 2 days. Gaddafi might be one if he's got an excellent weather. If not, okay, misdirect. That's a bit of a shame for Dracula because then it means that's one encounter fewer that the Huns have to deal with. And basically, what you want to be doing in this situation is having a huge line of encounters in the east, and then Dracula just instantly leaves. Then that's what you want. By misdirecting here, you're then that's one fewer encounter that's on the trail. Maybe Dracula's going back on himself and he needs that space cleared, which makes a lot of sense. But I'd rather have as many encounter cards on the trail as possible by the time you go to sea. Because it just means there's just more for the Huns to deal with. The more they get sucked into the east, more likely that things mature, or more likely they overcommit to deal with the trail. Either way, it's good for Dracula. Especially getting 7 points like this. If another vampire matures with a rumor, then it's GG. Otherwise, it'll put him into like a really strong winning position. Sea moves in general are really inefficient. The only way you want to do kind of sea moves is try to combine them with excellent weather, so then you can like jump really quickly ahead of Dracula or onto Dracula's space, and Dracula's not ready for it. That's kind of what you want to use them for. Oh, and I. Oh, well, yeah, true. They needed to trade. Oh, wait, why didn't... Okay, if that's the case, Van Helsing should have traded at night to get these horses. Then Dracula... Van Helsing could have moved during the day. That's what should have happened there. They still haven't got the last white one, so... It's a difficult one. So what's Mina going to do? If you're really desperate to get the white one, just do ticket things in the day then. But you've got 2 hunters at sea. That's the other problem. So that's 2 hunters that cannot deal with the horse economy. I would have, if I was in a hunter situation here, I would have used all the turns with Godalming. Get that white one, the yellow one, back into the pool to try to get the white one out. I know you're making the horse economy slightly worse, but you're making it more likely you'll find the one that will kill your horses, and that's not what you want to try and get them out. Other things over the course of the game you can kind of manipulate. Same with Mina. Mina's got a yellow one. Just keep digging for the white. The white one is the critical thing. You need to get the white one. But Mina's very well equipped though. She's got a horse and a knife and a rifle, which is decent. I think there's one heavenly host that's still missing. The other thing too, if we're looking like because they've been moving around a lot, the supplying is slowed down. So we know that the Huns have some really strong events. But then if Dracula's looking at this, he knows that all the stakes won't be available, or all the heavenly hosts won't be available, and so on. There'll be things that the Huns will be missing in one way or the other. Now you've got 3 Huns coming into the east. Dracula's gonna be careful here not to overcommit. Just gonna be careful to make sure that he escapes on time. That being said, if he's able to, he's been able to draw 3 hunters eastward, which is very good. 2 of them by inefficient sea moves. Okay, goes to sea now. Yeah, shame about the misdirect. And shame there's no rumour token lying around here. That could have put a lot of pressure on the hunters. Because at the moment there's no stake. I can't remember, does Seward have a stake? I don't think he does. I'll have to remember when Seward's turn gets played. This thing, as a commentator, you're not paying attention as much as I would be if I was playing. Okay, so he left from Athens. So why the misdirect then? The misdirect doesn't really make sense to me. Oh, maybe he left from Salonika. Ah. I would have personally just kept Salonika. I would have just gone to Athens and I would have kept Salonika on the board. Having one more encounter is very valuable here in terms of time. Now Seward's got a difficult choice. Do you try to get ahead of Dracula or do you actually land in Athens? Van Helsing has to kind of stay put. The fact there's a Dracula event on top, you can supply freely. No, you're not going to get rid of an event. And I mean, what's going to be better than a rifle? Another knife, I guess. Another heavenly host, I suppose. But then you have to trade around the heavenly hosts. I wouldn't move here with Van Helsing. If you want to, maybe move to somewhere like Milan. Every move that you make as the hunters is basically a turn that you're not supplying. So if you make a move, it has to be a very valuable move. I'm not quite sure what moving to Venice achieves. Obviously, it's very hard because I don't have 5 hits perspective in terms of like hearing, commentary or whatever. But that move doesn't achieve much. You don't want Van Helsing going east here because you got enough hunters east anyway. You know Dracula's heading west, most likely. Could be going to Black Sea, but would be very crazy given this move. If you're going to Venice to block the Adriatic move, okay, but normally Draculas will go to Turidian. So if you're going to go anywhere, go to Genoa. Either stay in Munich, or move to Genoa, or move to Marseille, even. That's another option. But there's another thing that's going to mature. We don't even know where that is. That's potentially Varna. It depends how Dracula moved after Galatz. That's probably now, yeah. See, so Mina's just moved forward and is now backtracked. So that's 2 moves. That could have been 2 supplies. Or it could have been a move in the opposite direction, getting ahead of Dracula. So if you're ever going to think to yourself, right, I'm going to move this hunter forward and the next one I'm going to move them backwards, that's not ever going to be a benefit to you. Moves are so critical in this game. Especially in this situation where you don't have horse economy set up, you need to use your moves even more wisely. And I think this is why fast horses are just so critical to try and get, the hunt to sort of rhythm going. Otherwise, your moves are just so even more crucial because you can just put yourself out of position so much by just moving just to the wrong city. So yeah, that's 2 turns that Mina has basically wasted. I mean, it might not be that consequential later on. We'll have to see. I mean, if Dracula just lands really close to both Van Helsing and Mina and they can jump on him, that's him dead. Or really low health anyway. They haven't renewed Vigor though, so double movement is not going to be an option. Oh, another Vampire mature. Okay, well in that instance then the misdirect didn't really cost too much. But just imagine that didn't mature. So they've only got Athens to deal with. So yeah, that's unfortunately going south quite quickly. Up to 11 points already. Okay, so Kadami's going to do with Athens. That's absolutely fine. Okay, another vampire. Okay, so Gio's just trying to win this game as fast as possible. I wouldn't use Heroic Leap here, because Heroic Leap will not kill this vampire. This vampire has 6 health. I would try to do at least 1 damage to it, and then initiate another combat and use Heroic Leap, if you want to do that. If not, if there's a stake nearby, use the stake. I don't think Suid has a stake. I should really keep an eye on that. This is quite difficult for Godalming, because he's got a Heavenly Host, which he doesn't want to use, because he wants to use it for Consecrated Ground. So a bit of an awkward spot. I can't remember what Suid has. It'd be very useful if I could remember. I'll pay attention on Suid's turn. You don't really want to use this Heavenly Host. If you can just get 1 damage in, you can just Heroic Leap it. That'll just solve the problem. Oh, those sound effects are terrifying. I don't know. I don't know if that's been picked up. I've got Chrome turned down quite low. I guess if you're able to do at least 1 damage to this vampire, then Suid can just leave and head westward again. But then again, he's moved all the way across for very little reason. Just moving twice by land is just so valuable. Okay, blocks the knife, that's unfortunate. A punch would have done the trick, but never mind. Do you try to punch it now, in case there's another mesmerize? I mean, maybe. Or, yeah, you can maybe potentially dodge a claws and then try to attack again. The cool thing is you got plenty of time to deal with this vampire. If need be, if you want to send Suid over and then do a 2v1 against it, then you can also do that. It just means then Godalming's not doing anything else. Yeah, I'd feel way more comfortable here if the hunters had managed to pick up that final white one. Okay, nice dodge. So it doesn't cancel anything. Or the strength doesn't, the strength doesn't, cancel the punch. So that's decent. So yeah, maybe punch now. It's quite likely that Dracula will play a Mesmerize now to stop you from escaping. But maybe Dracula might realize by playing knife first, you want to be in this combat. It's very hard for a hunter to 1v1 kill a vampire, especially a new vampire, from full health, unless you get like a really lucky like crucifix or knife attack in first and then you heavily host it. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult to kill. I would definitely not use Heavenly Host here because you want Heavenly Host to be the killing blow. So I would just punch or escape here. I mean, if Godalming really wanted to, he could just keep digging for a stake, because he is quite likely to draw one. I think there are 2 left in the pile. And if you can get any sort of damage in on this vampire, then Heroic Leap will do the job. Okay, another strength. Okay, cancel the knife, and then that's 2 damage dealt to Godalming. So I guess from that, yeah, knife isn't broken though, so it's not a knight, so that's okay. I guess Dracula must have just realised, either Dracula didn't draw the Mesmerize, or he maybe realised by the way that you're playing there that you're going to knife. I would just escape here. Maybe I try to throw out a punch, because you never know, you might just land 1 damage. Dracula can't cancel the punch, so it's actually a pretty good thing to do. You could punch and then dodge and then escape maybe, or punch then escape. Dracula might then fang back immediately. The vampire might also try to escape, maybe knowing that you don't have a stake. Okay, you're trying to escape. I would have thrown out the punch here. It's a pretty free punch. You might take 2 damage from it. But the thing is, if you get even just 1 damage in on this vampire, you can then just heal up until you get above 5 health, and then you use Heroic Leap. So Godalming's never going to die in this situation. Yeah, could have got the damage in, and I think that's important. Like, you would have taken 2 damage from claws regardless, but you would have done 1 damage back, and then it means it would have been in heroic leap range. You don't really want to use Heroic Leap on vampires, but in a case like this, where if you don't kill this vampire, the game is lost, then yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, Sud has a stake, so, I mean, worst case scenario, I think in that case, if Sud has a stake, I would have just gone to deal with it with Seward. Just get Godalming out of that combat as soon as possible, just try to escape instantly, play escape and dodges, and maybe throw in a punch if you think the vampire's going to plot, and then just get Seward over there. That's all you have to do. Doesn't matter which way you move, because it'll take 2 moves anyway. Godalming can then leave, so that's nice. He's not needed there anymore. If he goes to sea, he can't heal, but then if you travel over land, you can. Okay. I assume Dracula's in Tyrrhenian Sea here. 99% of the time, that is that's the case. And the problem is, a psychic scan of Italy here isn't incredibly helpful, because Italy could be, you know, Tyrrhenian coast, Adriatic coast, or Cagliari. I would have healed there with Godalming. You missed out on a heal for no reason. So yeah, definitely heal there. Okay, Seward passing makes sense. I would still be digging for tickets. You need to find this last white one. So yeah, I would just keep digging for tickets with the others. Same with Mina. Just throw away that yellow one. I know you're making the horse economy worse, but it's better that way than never be able to use horses, because you're just holding on to items that you're not using. And Dracula's going to realise this. If Dracula sees you only moving 1 all the time, then he'll realise that you haven't got horse economy sorted. Very difficult to get to both Galatz and Varna. But yeah, the lack of movement is really hurting. Which is one advantage of starting in Vienna. You are on a rail line, so you can use that as your secondary option. If horses are not cooperating, you can use that instead. Okay, probably Cagliari here, but I would move. You need to get Godalming away from here. Godalming is doing nothing by sitting here. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so he didn't heal at night. So then you had to heal during the day, which is not really what you want to be doing. I mean, if you want to stay put, so then Seward can heal you twice. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you don't need to delay here. You can just stake this at night. Oh, okay, never mind. I wouldn't play any cards here. I wouldn't have delayed Godalming. Seward has a stake, so just use the stake to deal with this vampire. Oh, wait, what? Okay, if you use Heroic Leap like that, then Godalming will delay himself, but then he takes 5 damage. You don't use Lucky Find here because you've got all the things you need. You use the stake. Okay, never mind. Okay, so this is difficult stuff. But okay, there's no stake in the piles. It didn't matter. So what you could do in this situation is you don't use Lucky Find. You consume the stake. You can then keep supplying if you want, but then if Seward then gets into another combat later, he can then use the Lucky Find. He doesn't need the Lucky Find right now. He has the items he needs. Because imagine if he got into another combat with Dracula later, and you would have then two pistols, a garlic, and a heavenly host. That's a very good combo. Otherwise, now you have to discard something. Stake is the easy option. This combat shouldn't be happening. And this is kind of the thing you have to think about as... I mean, there are reasons why maybe you might want to kill the vampire here in combat. If you have like a vampire lair, you could then use the stake for the vampire lair instead. But in this situation, you don't have it, so I wouldn't stress about that. I would just prioritize new players. If you got a stake, use the stake. Don't mess around with, especially now because Godalming's delayed. So it means at night he can't heal double, which is kind of the point of moving Seward in the first place. If you want to commit here to have a 2v1, you need to go really aggressive. Just throw down aggressive combat cards. Throw your knife, not Heavenly Host, but throw down the knives, the pistols, rifles, punches. You want to try and kill this as soon as possible. Since you're committing to it, you want to get this killed within a couple of rounds, hopefully. Double punch is a good start, and then weapons after that. If you want to play 2 weapons first, that's fine. Whatever you like. If you want to mix them, okay. There's a risk that if the vampire picks correctly, it will take less damage this way, but we'll see. Because I could Strength Godalming this turn, and then Mesmerize Seward the next turn. So yeah, this vampire is definitely going to die one way or the other. As hunters, you're always having to think about what is the most efficient way of doing things. And in this situation, you got stake. So Godalming should have just tried to get out of the combat, earlier, without taking as much damage as he did. And then just move Seward in, don't delay Godalming, stake it, end of story. Okay, so that's another 2 damage onto Godalming. And like I said, he can't heal at night now. So this is the one character that you don't want to be delayed. So he's the one taking all the punishment. Yeah, just throw punch. You need to go aggressive. I mean, I guess if you don't want Godalming to take too much damage either, that's the thing. But the Hunters are still in a decent position because they've got the Consecrated Ground with 3 Heavenly Hosts. That's incredibly powerful. Dracula might not be prepared for that. And if Dracula easy just gets caught in the wrong place, that could be him dead. Play either gun, whatever you like. Rifle, that's fine. Or pistol, that's fine too. If the vampire has strength, it'll probably strength suited here. So it'll be down to 4. Whereas it could have been down to 3 if you played double punch and then double weapon, or double weapon then double punch. So yeah, it's just about trying to think about the combination of combat cards. Okay. Well, that's actually okay, because the vampire will only go up 1 health, and then will take 3 in return. So that actually wasn't too bad. Maybe Dracula didn't draw strength, which is very possible. I think this might be too loud, I'm not sure. So yeah, I'd play knife again. If the vampire doesn't target you, you're doing 3 damage. So yeah, I'd just play knife here. No, don't dodge. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Suid can't kill it on his own, so you need to have 2. Even if the vampire targets Godalming, yeah, it'll be down to 1 health. But that's a better position to be in, because then the vampire will have to play an escape round 4, and might not have drawn 1. Yeah, so the vampire would have been down to 1 health. Oh no. Yeah, Sue could have played a weapon. Okay, will the vampire escape? That's the question. Kind of have to in this situation. Yeah, may as well just play knife. Yep. Well, actually, you could play double escape as bat things here. So actually, maybe not playing rifle last round was a good idea. So it means that the only way the vampire lives is with an escape as missed. So you're really limiting the vampire's options. So this vampire might well die anyway. Yeah, I would personally go like double punch round 1, double weapons round 2, double punch round 3, and then round 4 play the escape as bat. And see, yeah, that's very clever. The vampire didn't know that you had another weapon there, so actually not revealing the rifle earlier was the right move. So that's the vampire gone. So that's good. So the game is saved. Target locked. Target acquired. And you save the stake, so if there is a vampire lair that suddenly gets drawn, you know, that can get traded around. So you're just now going to have to just get out of Athens with those 2 hunters. And ironically, if you don't draw the last white one, going by sea would actually be quicker. You could be in Genoa in 3 moves rather than 6 moves by road. With horses, it would be the same number of moves regardless. Okay, supplying. That's okay. Mina could probably supply here. Alternatively, she could move to Marseille to sort of get ahead of Dracula if Dracula is indeed on Cagliari. But like, let's think about this. What's Dracula going to do if he's on the island? He's probably going to hide. Will probably feed as well. So we can get back up to full health before going to C. A cool thing is you got wax cylinders, so if Dracula makes a move, quote unquote, today, you could play wax cylinders to see if it's the hide. If Dracula feeds, that kind of tells you he's on Cagliari anyway. Um, I mean, scanning Italy to make sure it is Italy, because imagine if it's not Italy, then immediately you can start backtracking towards Black Sea, or maybe, yeah, it have to be Black Sea. Adriatic Sea is impossible, I think, because Sud was in Valona before moving into Athens, so yeah, it can't be Valona. The fact that Dracula has wolf formed here means it's most likely Cagliari. Okay, gonna scan. That's alright. The problem is by doing that, um, the hunters have moved away from Cagliari then. Really be better if both Van Helsing and Mina had moved to Genoa. Oh, I don't know if you want to play that now. Oh no, you don't. You don't need to play that now. If Dracula's on the island, ah, that's pulling the trigger too early. I mean, look, if Dracula is indeed in like Naples or Bari or something, then you're gonna do a lot of like checkmate damage to him, but it won't be the kill. Unfortunately, that's the like one of the strongest cards of the game now used. Oh, he couldn't be in Florence. That's impossible. You had to put it in Bari. If you're going to commit to this idea, you have to put it in Bari and then put it in Genoa. Ah, that's impossible. Okay, so Sarajevo here is an impossibility. Because the only way that Dracula could be there is that he went to Valona, and we know that Suid came from Valona, so that's impossible. And at consecrated ground like this, I know, and again, I know this is a new blood tournament, so the players aren't as experienced, but for everybody who's trying to learn the game, consecrated ground is like the most powerful card in the game for a reason. It can just screw over Dracula so hard. Um, you need to use it at a time where you are guaranteeing that you are going to hurt Dracula significantly, either by checkmating him completely, or by meaning that he has to take penalty damage and the trail gets wiped, or if you can't do any of those things, which is often quite difficult to do, you force Dracula to make a really inefficient move, and the hunters can then pile him on top of him next turn. That's what you want. You want to use Consecrated Ground to force Dracula into the hunters. That is basically what you want. If this was like the final week and you had no idea where Dracula was and you're just throwing out Consecrated Ground, I completely understand it. But it's still really early in the game. It's Sunday week 2. You've got a lot of time left. So used efficiently, this Consecrated Ground could be, the game changer. The way it was played, even if Dracula was in Bari, it doesn't matter because Dracula could just feed and now is safe to move to Naples because the Heavenly Host tokens don't stay. Okay, and then day healing, which is again not what you want to be doing. During the day, you want to be moving or supplying. That's the basic thing. The only time you'll be healing will be if you're so low on health you literally cannot move. Or if you're fearing something's going to mature that's going to, like a Sagani mob or a wolves or something that's going to kill you. Alternatively, if you use renewed vigor and you end up like in a combat with a vampire or something before you're going to face Dracula, and you get out of the combat, and then you want to use your second action to heal before you fight Dracula, that's fine. That you can do. But you don't want to be using it just like this. You want to be supplying. You need to be supplying to get events. You need to be or moving to try to get into a position so you jump on Dracula. So Dracula here has been given quite a reprieve by not being discovered in his location. We assume it's Cagliari, but we still don't know. If the last Heavenly Host token was put in Cagliari, he wouldn't be able to feed, which would have been an important bit of information. He'd been forced to leave instantly. Okay, I don't know why you're moving to Florence. You know you can't be there. Going to Genoa would have been much better. And also, like, Money Trail wasn't used. So, again, throwing out a Consecrated Ground randomly is not going to work. Especially, you know, if we know that he's on Cagliari, Consecrated Ground is not going to do much. There's just too much of a risk of playing this incorrectly. Yeah, sure, there are times where maybe Dracula might be sneaky and is in the south of Italy, but the chances are so unlikely. So yeah, that's very unfortunate. He's in Italy. So he is in Italy, but he's in Genoa or he's on the island, or could be in Bari and is now moving to Naples. But, you know, most of the time Dracula players will go to Cagliari here because it's a nice little stopover. If you're definitely going from going westward, stopping off in Cagliari is nice. Because you get to throw down an encounter, potentially hide, you know, feed, get a rumour token on it before you have to go to sea again. The hunters have to go and deal with it, which is a very awkward location to get to, especially then if they're not equipped to deal with what's there. What else? And it also means then you're safe from things like Consecrated Ground. You can never be in danger from dying from Consecrated Ground in Cagliari because you can just leave to the Mediterranean Sea on the other side. You'll never get the checkmate penalty. The only way would be if you're like really low health and before you feed, the hunters put down a token in Cagliari, which means you're forced off and then you take damage from the sea and die. But obviously at this stage of the game that's never going to be. So as a hunter player, you have to know the strength of your cards to try and understand when they can be played. I will argue, this is one of the hardest things to get right, especially if you're so used to playing on your own or with your own little like group. Because the game is played relatively infrequently, it's not an easy game to get to the table, right? Because it does take quite a long time to play. It requires a little bit of setup. You can't just play, especially when you're playing physically, right? You can't play, 4 matches a day or something. The great thing about digital is it really speeds up that process of learning because you can play it more frequently. When I first started playing, I was playing a match pretty much every day, maybe even more than that. At the weekend, I was playing like 3, 4, 5 matches a day, and you learn so quickly from it. And the fact now also with digital that there's video footage, you can watch other people play. So I definitely recommend it. I'm not saying this in a way to be like, watch my videos, I'm so good, but what I mean is, if you go onto my channel or Quincy's channel or whoever else, and you see them win game as hunters, you will see the way that they use certain cards to win. And if you see the way they use the card, then that will be a way for you to realize, okay, that's the timing of Renewed Vigor I need, that's the timing of CG I need. I mean, there are many times, like in the beginning, I misused Consecrated Ground. I didn't use it. I maybe used it a turn too early or a turn too late. I didn't put the tokens in the correct positions to do the most damage, but then you do it by learning. And obviously this is hard in a tournament environment, right? That any mistakes you make will then cost you in terms of potentially your place in the tournament, but it was just a way to try and get new players together. But as long as you learn from your mistakes and you analyze the things that you're doing, then that's absolutely fine. But this is a case of, I don't know if 5-Hit has done this, but 5-Hit has to be sort of aware of, and be able to reflect on the game after the fact, and contemplate, was that use of CG correct? Yes or no? Were there moves I was making that were inefficient? Yes or no? Okay. Going to Naples. Again, I don't know what these moves are. Um, going to Dracula can't be in Naples, so if you're going to check somewhere, check Rome because he could be in Rome. Rome and Naples are both one road away from Bari, so you can easily check Bari tomorrow, or Dracula will have to move into you. So yeah, every time you make a move, you have to think about why am I making this move? What is the purpose of this move? We've got wax cylinders, analysis, and yeah, he's on the island. So yeah, that poor CG token is not going to be very relevant, I'm afraid. It's always Cagliari. It's always 13. It's always Cagliari. It's so common. Um, Especially in a situation like this, where you had two hunters, committed to the east, and they were going to be slow to move. And the two hunters that were in the west were also moving very slowly because the horse economy is not prepared. It's not safe. I mean, they could be using horses, but there's a risk that they die. But if that's the case, the hunters have to be dealing with that. If your movement is so restricted, you need to fix the problem. You need to get that final white one ticket out of the deck instead of just passing moves. That's the thing, right? If it is a problem that is affecting your game, only you as the player can remedy it. Especially if it's something like tickets that you can kind of control and try to manipulate. If there's a certain event that you need and you don't have it, okay, that can, yeah, that's harder to deal with. But then you have to kind of realize, I don't have that card. I'll have to play slightly differently as a result. So Dracula's now going to C. Makes a lot of sense, but now you've got this encounter in Cagliari that has to be dealt with. Depending on what the hide card is, will the hunters even be able to deal with it in time? If they don't move quickly enough, they won't be able to. They have to go to Cagliari right now. Again, if also the problem is Van Helsing going into the boot is a problem because if Dracula's not there, he's moving further away from where Dracula's going next. That's the thing. As hunters, you want to be trying to get ahead of Dracula if possible. So then Dracula have to make really awkward decisions. Do I have to wolf form beside a hunter or backtrack, and then they get closed in? So yeah, Van Helsing and Mina's movement should always be westward in this situation. If you just get them to Marseille and they stay put, that's fine. Yeah, moving to Valona is also a bit of a problem because now, if you go to sea, you're having to go Adriatic then Ionian, which is slower than just going from the Ionian. They could have been moving to the Tyrrhenian by now. And the thing is, Suud has a stake, so because he saved it from the Athens fight, so they could have easily just gone Ionian Tyrrhenian. He could be in Tyrrhenian right now, or moving into Tyrrhenian right now. So then tomorrow lands on Cagliari. The hide card triggers. And even if it's a delay thing, it won't delay him enough, and he'll be able to stake the vampire. Rather than now having to move to Adriatic, which is very awkward. Who's going to deal with this? I assume Van Helsing's going to go. But I'm not sure. But so far, from the Dracula side, obviously I can't see everything that Dracula's done, but just from the things I can see, as a spectator, from this perspective, Dracula's just played it nice and calm. Fortunately, hasn't been, pushed into really awkward situations. I think the only thing was the misdirect. I don't think was necessary. Okay, Mina's going there. But Van Helsing moved to Tyrrhenian. I don't think that was necessary. Mina has to be moving westward here. I don't think she should be the one dealing with Cagliari. So you've basically sent two hunters to sea when only one of them would have been enough. So again, now Dracula's got loads of space. Fog. clearly that's fog. Well, he would have ambushed, to be fair. If it was fog, he would have ambushed with it. Well, he might have ambushed with it. Or maybe not, because he saw that that Mina had forewarned. It's a really tricky one. I guess Dracula would want to try to burn the forewarned on Mina, so then that forewarned isn't around to be used on somebody for somebody else later. Will the Huns be able to do a Cagliari? That's the question. Well, it's GG if they don't. If it's a Reckless Vampire and it gets 2 Fang attacks in during an ambush, then it's GG. Dracula's now heading westward. He can just wolf form from Mediterranean here, and even if he wolf forms to somewhere like Toulouse, Madrid even, he's got so much time. The Huns are only moving 1 space per turn. It was fog. It was indeed fog. So how is she going to do with a new vampire on her own? That's the question. And the problem is now it means Van Helsing cannot move on to Cagliari tomorrow. That's the thing that can cause a bit of a snowball effect. I mean, if Van Helsing wants to move on to Mediterranean, that's fine. Yeah, Mina's in a bit of a sticky spot here. I mean, has got knife, so being bitten's unlikely. So she probably won't die, but you never know. You never know with these night fights. And even if she does it, if she starts getting weapons and things broken, she'll be very weak. So that was an interesting play there by Dracula not to have ambushed, so then the forewarned wasn't burned. Okay, nice punch. Very likely there that Dracula mesmerizes, so that's a good move. Problem is now Dracula can mesmerize again if he's got it. I've got the combat music in my head, even though it's not playing in the video. I never ever contemplated the idea of playing without music. Okay. Alright, well. Interesting fangs. I guess the vampire thought Mina might escape and just try to get a little bit of health back. I've also just realised if Van Helsing wants to deal with this vampire, they want to deal with it 2v1 because of the timing of the fog. Van Helsing will have to move to Mediterranean, then move back to Tyrrhenian, and then go on to Cagliari. Oh, Cagliari, sorry. Because the fog's going to stick around for longer, so maybe that's why Dracula didn't ambush. He realised there's a risk of that, and then it would stick around for longer. That is the advantage of the Hunter's Search fog. Seeing on my OBS there's a little bit of background noise on my mic. I think it's just picking up very faint breathing noises or something, so hopefully there's no static or anything like that. I need to research it a bit more. Another Fang attack. Okay, so in that sense, a nice dodge. I mean, it is possible that she had a Heavenly Host and the vampire is at the possibility of being killed. I guess the Hunters revealed Heavenly Hosts with the Consecrated Ground, so you know that Mina doesn't have one. Mina doesn't die here now, I don't think, unless it's somehow like a double clause that I'm not. Oh, so here I am. Now I'm in the game. I couldn't remember exactly when. Now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember all this stuff on Cagliari, but I don't remember exactly like the how it all plays out from here, like the exact way that it does. Okay, nice mesmerize. Um, I if Mina just plays dodge knife here, she won't die. That has to kind of be the priority. Although Dracula might be able to break her knife, which wouldn't be ideal. But I think the vampire here isn't looking for a kill. They're trying to just making sure this vampire sticks around, basically. If it stays alive, then it's going to be a pain. Okay. Got rid of the escaper's bat. That's decent. Yeah, Escaper's Mist is always generally better as a vampire because the only way you cancel Escaper's Mist is with a crucifix, whereas Escaper's Bat can be cancelled by rifles and knives. And genuinely, generally speaking, the hunters will carry rifle and knife over a crucifix. Crucifix is a passive item card, which means you have to be the targeted hunter in order for it to trigger. It can do a lot of damage if you are the targeted hunter, but same with Garlic. If you're not the targeted hunter, then it's kind of useless. It's just you're just waving it at Dracula basically. So what's the timing going to be here of this fog? So Mina will get a chance to kill it. I mean, the alternative is that you get a heroic leap over to her and she can kill it with a heroic leap, but because Van Helsing can't get there in time. The reason why is Dracula's now going to move, so Cagliari will be on the penultimate space. Oh yeah, you can't use forewarned. Oh, now I remember. Yeah, I remember this chat. You can't use forewarned on a search. Forewarned is only ambush. So maybe Dracula didn't realize there. I was not given the prompt. Okay. No, so it wasn't an ambush. It was a search. So when you search, forewarned is useless. It's only for an ambush. So the way you use forewarned is when you're about to jump onto Dracula's space, and Dracula hits you with something like a Sagani mob or a fog, and you can just cancel it, and then you go to combat with him. The other way you can use fog is if you're getting quite close to Dracula, and suddenly you get hit by something like a bat, for example, or a spy, and that would cause issues for you in terms of like a spy mucking up your ticket economy or a bat pushing you away in the wrong direction, then you might want to forewarn it. But then Dracula will know that the forewarn is gone and then might be able to play fog to protect himself. It just depends. But then there are two forewarns in the deck. Okay, so here's the thing. Dracula just feels like he's under no danger here and can just land without wolf forming. Consecrated Ground is being used, so there's very, very little risk here. Nobody can exit weather onto his location. Seward and Graming are far away. Van Helsing can only move to Mediterranean today or move to Genoa. So, yeah, this is just very safe. So, yeah, so because Cagliari's on the penultimate space, one fog token will disappear today, and then it will disappear at dusk the next day, right? Fog tokens always get removed at dusk. So that means Van Helsing cannot move on to Cagliari in time. So basically, Mina is going to have to deal with it single-handedly. Now, the way you can do this, I can't remember what Mina's health is, but if you want to kill this vampire, the way you do it is get Van Helsing to land right now, get Heroic Leap onto Van Helsing tonight, and then tomorrow during the day, trades it to Mina. That's how you get around that problem. She's got enough health, you'll kill the vampire, because I can't remember how much how much health the vampire had. It was only maybe 2 health. So you just kill the vampire, you've got the cards to play it. No, it's not GG yet. If Van Helsing had just gone to Genoa and got the Heroic Leap traded, this is not GG. But again, this is kind of, what we're kind of trying to highlight with this tournament. It's very easy for me to sit here and sort of, the fact I've got a lot more. I mean, I'm not disputing 5 hits, like, knowledge of the cards, but there's a difference between knowing the cards and knowing them, like, in the game, being able to realize in the moment, I have a card that will help me, and then being able to work around and trade it and all that sort of stuff. It's not the same. One thing I do recommend to new players is going into the library and looking at the cards, but you also have to play with them and realize, oh right, I've got a movement card, that will help me here. I've got Consecrated Ground, that will help me in this situation if Dracula does this. I've got Heroic Leap, right, I can use it to hit Dracula with it, or if I got a vampire I can't kill, like in this situation, I can use it. So really this shouldn't be GG here. Mina will get a chance to search this, so there is an opportunity here that Mina will kill it, and the game is still on. Yeah, you're right, 5 hit. Yeah, the fog will go away, so Mina will have a chance to kill it. But then, man, you're just asking for combat to go wrong. Combat is a really fickle thing. I've won many combats against vampires like at the last second, but I've also lost a lot. Just use the Heroic Leap option, because that will just, that will mean you avoid the combat completely. Yeah, Mina takes lots of damage, but it doesn't matter. You save the game's still alive. You can just keep then running after Dracula. As long as you don't see the end of game screen, especially from the hunter's perspective, you always have a chance to win, because you've got these really powerful cards to help you win. So yeah, unfortunately this has kind of felt like a game, and I hate to say this, I hope 5 hit takes this the right way, but like, it feels like this is a game that the hunters haven't really gotten going, really. They've had really awkward movement because they haven't found the last white one. There's some sort of mismanagement in terms of, Athens trying to deal with that, but in the end that wasn't I mean, it's a little bit consequential because Gadaming and Seward were a little bit late coming across, but in the long, sort of the long term, that might not have mattered. But then the misuse of Consecrated Ground, that should have still been in his hand, ready to play. Especially in this situation, right? Dracula just lands for Mediterranean. Now this is where you maybe throw down Consecrated Ground before he wolf forms, because then you can box him in, maybe try and ascertain where exactly he is. You might be able to push him towards Seward and Gadaming if they'd come across a little bit sooner. But yeah, the lack of movement has been a bit of a problem. How did Gadaming get there? Sorry, just so my microphone went into the red as well. Apologies. Oh, he's actually now using the horse economy. Interesting. Okay. I've only used that before. Yeah, because if Dracula had been in Alicante, you could have pushed him. That's another thing. You could have pushed him back to C. If he was in Alicante, you would be able to get him. Yeah, you'd be able to put one in Alicante, surround Alicante. You'd push him back to C. His trail would get wiped, which means the vampire would also disappear. So you would need to trade the Heroic Leap. So there's a few ways you could have got out of this problem. And Dracula would have taken a lot of damage. That would have been 5 damage for the checkmate penalty, plus 2 more for going back to C. And then you're kind of getting into the sort of realm of damage where it only takes that a Heroic Leap, and then Dracula dies. So actually, hunters here definitely had an option, or possibilities here to win the game. If they'd just been just a tiny bit more patient and sort of a little bit more calculating in terms of moves. I know there was a game. Oh no, you need a supply there. You need a supply. Never ever pass day moves. Just supply. That event could have won you the game. That could have been a planned ambush or something, and that could have been enough. You just never know what the card is going to be. So just supply it every opportunity you've got. I know there was a game earlier in the tournament that went on for like 4 hours or something, and I think there was 5-Hit was struggling maybe in that game to try and work out how to play Consecrated Ground, which is perfectly understandable. If you misuse it, it costs you the game. Um, it's that fine balance. You need to think about your moves, but not so much that you then overthink, because then you just get yourself tied in knots, and it becomes then also very slow to play, which then means you become tired, and the tireder you become, then the more overthinking you do, then the more mistakes you make. It's kind of like this weird thing where you need to kind of play at a fast pace that you don't rush it, but you save energy. So then if there's, you see it when I play quite a lot of my moves quite quickly. I would be playing them quicker if I was not recording, because I'd be explaining what my moves are. I wouldn't be explaining what my moves were. But it means that if there's a really critical move, and I have to spend 5 minutes planning a move, I can do it. Because I've saved up all of that energy to make that critical decision. So yeah, this is tricky. If Mina picks right here, then the vampire dies. But if the vampire draws a strength, it's going to pick strength. Strength is really, really safe. Fangs is also kind of safe, because is it likely that Mina's going to pick the knife first when only 2 damage will do? Okay, play strength. That makes a lot of sense. Playing punch was probably the right move there, because then you don't get a weapon broken. But at the same time, if Dracula didn't have strength, then could have had mesmerize as well, I suppose. You'd be annoyed to only do 1 damage. It's tricky. If Dracula has drawn a lot of cancel cards here, like mesmerize and escapes, mesmerizes and strengths. I'm misspeaking today. I don't know why that is. Which I haven't played. I haven't been looking at Fury of Dracula recently, so I don't know what game I'm looking at. If Dracula's just drawn strengths and mesmerizes, this is going to be almost near impossible. Try to dodge to try and bait out the second strength. I might even try to dodge first round, because you just never know. You might be able to bait out the only strength or mesmerize they've got, and then you hit them the next round. It's a difficult one. It just depends on the combat card. Sometimes it works in Dracula's favor, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, had 2 strengths, so good dodge, very good dodge. If you did it my way and you done dodge and then played a weapon, the weapon would have been broken. So, it all kind of worked. It worked out the same. But you didn't lose a weapon because you punched first, so that's good. It's a difficult one. Yeah, I feel like you just throw out the knife and just hope they haven't. Dracula hasn't drawn any mesmerizers. I wouldn't play punch here. You want to kill this vampire. Getting it down to 1 health is you need to kill it this round, because round 4 is when it can escape. If it has escape is missed, you bet the vampire's escaping is missed. Yeah, I wouldn't play punch here, because this is really risky. Best case scenario, it's going to be down to 1 health. Okay, so you got it down to 1 health, so in that sense, that's good. But the question is now what do you do? If Dracula has escape is missed, then this vampire's definitely getting out of here. Okay, that's a GG. That's unfortunate. Combat just worked out in Dracula's favour there. But again, that's why, I've been in this position, and it's horrible when you think, oh, there's no way the vampire's going to draw all the cancel cards, and then they do. I've been in that position before. So yeah, don't feel bad about that. But there is a way you could have got around that problem. Potentially with a Consecrated Ground before. If that didn't work, there's a Heroic Leap trade that could have been done. But again, that's the case. You need to have not just a working knowledge of what each card does, but understanding suddenly in that moment I can use it. And again, that comes with experience and also watching other people do it. If you watch other people do it, then at least for me, I'll hopefully see a very similar situation in my own games, and I think, oh, I saw that in a video, I can try and replicate it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. No hired scouts either to find Cagliari, but also if we look, like, oh, there are 52 event cards still in the deck, still 6 item cards, and really, a lot of them, oh, Barcelona, I mean, that would have then been, that would have also done Consecrated Ground, because you could have put the first token in Alicante. Let me go back to the map. You could have put the first token in Alicante. Isn't it in Alicante? So then you can put all the other tokens around Barcelona. If Barcelona was empty, then you could have put maybe one in Toulouse and one in Clermont-Ferrand. So then Dracula would be forced from Marseille towards Sud and Godalming, and that's what you want in that situation. And if Van Helsing had landed in Genoa, then that's also really good too. So that'd be a way you could have done it. That would have been a better Consecrated Ground. And if Dracula gets surrounded and by heavily host tokens and cannot make a legal move, everything apart from his current location is removed from the board. So that Vampire Cagliari, gone. Yeah, sure, he would have been, all those sea spaces would have been freed up too, but Dracula would have taken 7 damage, at least, because he would have had to probably move another sea space, and then loses the Vampire. So that would have then potentially been, now you're looking at Dracula being on... it was on 13 health before, so it's down to 6 health at least, but might even get down to 5. And then you've got Money Trail still, right? So then, if Dracula moves a couple sea spaces from Mediterranean up to North Atlantic or to Ionian, you've got Money Trail ready to go. You can just instantly use it, find out what place he is, and then just get all get all the fast horses over there. And then Dracula's going to be really struggling to try and survive. I know Dracula only has to make one move to win in the 4th week, but if he doesn't make it to the 4th week, then he's not going to win. So, oh well, it was a good game. Definitely very enjoyable to watch. Hopefully, Five doesn't take my comments. Hopefully they weren't too harsh, but just trying to help out as much as I can, and hopefully, if you got any questions, either Five Hit or anybody else who's watching this and is interested in the game, then feel free to leave your comments down below. And I shall see you all in another video very, very soon. I'm going to take a quick 20-minute break, and then I've got a live stream to do, so that's very exciting. A Fury of Dracula recording and then a live stream on the same day. Happy days. Obviously you're going to see the other way around, but never mind. And I shall see you in another video very, very soon. Remember that in the description of this video, you'll find links to all the other YouTubers who are recording videos of Fury of Dracula, and you'll also find a link to the playlist of all the games which have been recorded from this tournament. All right. Feel free to leave any comments below, or if you want to come into the Discord community, there's a link in the description as well. Come in here, say hi, we'll help you out. You can chat to all the competitors and all the other experienced players in the community. And I'll see you in another video very soon. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I hope everything was okay with the mic. Bye-bye.